Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 57 of the Hunt a Day. We are still in Frontier, still having a good time fighting these new monsters, and I have a set that is survivable now, so we're going to be showing off some of the harder boys. And I wanted to start off with two monsters that I absolutely love and that I would love to see again, but I think they are not likely for a couple reasons that I'll get into. Today we are fighting Ray and Lolo Gougarf. And before we get into the actual fight itself, a little known fact about me, just me and my personal life, is as a young lad, I loved professional wrestling. It is still something that I think very fondly of, and you're probably asking yourself, Grayson, why are you bringing that up? This is Monster Hunter, not SummerSlam. Well, Ray and Lolo Gougarf can easily be described as a pair of tag team wrestle magnetic monkeys. I think I bought enough time for them to be on screen at this point, and so Ray and Lolo Gougarf are two monsters that use the Rajang skeleton. Ray Gougarf is the blue one, Lolo Gougarf is the red and white one, and they are magnetically charged apes that both fight each other and you at the same time. They mostly work as a tag team against you, but their attacks will still hurt each other, so you can kind of use that to your advantage. And they are, I think, tied with Celtis and Celtis Queen, even better than Celtis and Celtis Queen, I'll be honest, for the best monsters that work in tandem with each other. They really are a tag team. There are moves where Ray Gougarf will jump at Lolo, who will grab Ray, swing him around, and then huck him at you. So they do like actual tag team moves. There are times during the hunt you'll see one of the Gougarfs use the other as a springboard to launch themselves into the sky to do like a big Rajang like spin down slam, and the fight is just chock full of really cool interactions like that. They also are one of the monsters that utilize Frontier's exclusive element magnetism. You'll see them, a lot of their moves occasionally will give you a little debuff where you're kind of pulsing with magnetic energy, and some of their moves will then pull you in, making it harder to get out of the way and escape them, and I think that's really cool. Because without that magnetism debuff, a lot of their big tag team Wrestle Boy moves are pretty easy to avoid, but when you have that debuff, it makes it even harder to get out of the way, which I think is a really interesting way to incentivize, making sure you're clearing those debuffs while also making their attacks more threatening. I really like the fight. I absolutely love the fact that you are fighting two monsters at once and they really work as a pair, rather than just feeling, oh, it's just two different monsters in the same arena. But the Gougarfs really feel like one fluid, cohesive fight. You'll see this at the end of the hunt as well, but they also have a mechanic where whichever one of them dies first, the other one has a unique reaction to it. Kind of, again, playing off that, like, magnetism, like, opposites, one being required for the other sort of deal. If you kill Ray, the blue one, first, Lolo Gougarf will immediately go enraged and stay that way for the rest of the fight. Whereas if you kill Lolo first, Ray gets depressed, Ray gets real sad, and can no longer enrage for the rest of the fight. So you are incentivized to take out Lolo first, which is what you see me doing in this hunt. But if you want more of a challenge, you can take out Ray first and then deal with a angry Lolo for the entire rest of the fight. Their fight is by far the best part of them. Their gear is really good. I am using it as like a basis for my early HR5, HR6 build that I have right now, and it's working really well. But now let's talk about their aesthetics, because there's a lot I really like about the Gougarfs and a lot that I'm not a fan of. For one thing, I love how they use the Rajang skeleton, the primate skeleton, to emulate like professional wrestlers. I think that's awesome. I don't think any other skeleton they could have used would get that point across as effectively, and that was a great choice. I like the idea behind the polarity for magnetism of like one of them being blue and one of them being primarily red. I really like the canine looks on their faces. I like how Lolo kind of looks like a pug with Ray being more wolf-like. But I think they're just, and this is coming from me having gone on record in the past saying that I love the doofy monsters, I think they look just a hair too silly. Lolo especially, and I understand that could be biased because I prefer like blue colorations, so I just kind of like how Ray looks a little bit better anyway. But a defining feature of both of the Gogarfs is that when they enrage, their hair gets bigger. For Ray, it sticks out more and becomes larger horizontally. It becomes wider. Whereas Ray, his hair gets like physically taller. It gets more vertical, and I don't remember if I got a good shot of this when I was recording, but it just kind of like inflates like a balloon. And it just looks incredibly silly to the point where like any menace these things have gets taken away by the silliness of it. And that's also kind of intentional. I think Monster Hunter needs silly monsters, and I think they do a good job of being that silly monster while still being a very fun and engaging fight. Usually the goofier monsters, I talked about this when I fought Nibblesnarf, are very easy to fight and not particularly, like, engaging. And I think the Gogarfs are the opposite side of that, where they're both silly, but also an incredibly fun and engaging fight. I also think Ray and Lolo just look too squat. They look too, like, compressed and little. And I think maybe if they stood more vertically or if they were just like a little bit longer or taller, I think it wouldn't be as jarring, but they're just so little. And it's silly. With like the more modern Rajang proportions on that skeleton, it might look better, so I could see them translating well to a future game. But I also, again, another reason why I don't think we'll be seeing them again, I think color palette wise, they are way too saturated for what current Monster Hunter is going for the more naturalistic look. So they would need to be toned down a lot. They'd need to be a bit more muted, a bit more like, Lola would need to be more like cream colored as opposed to white and with a more like dark, desaturated red. Ray's probably fine. Lolo's the one who would need the most change. Maybe a bit more like muted in the blue, more leaning towards gray kind of. And I think that would kind of take away from the magnet angle that they have. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I love them. I could easily see them coming back, and I want to experience their fight again with a hunter that can like keep up. But they're just so out there in design and fight like mechanics. It's hard to say like, yeah, this will be in a more grounded mainline game. So I think very low chance of coming back in Monster Hunter Wilds. I'll say like a flat 1 to 2. I'll say a 1 to 2 again, just because of how over the top they are. But I really think Capcom will put them in a more like one of the portable series games, effectively one of the more like arcadey, fast-paced, action-packed games. I think we're likely to see Ray and Lolo come back. So I'll say like let's say a 6 for coming back in a future game in the series. But what do you guys think? What do y'all think about the funny magnet boys? Despite my like small critiques, I still love them, and even then, it's just like little personal preferences. I think they're great. I would love to see them come back. In general, I just enjoy their fight, and will probably do it for fun once I'm done like grinding their armor. But that is it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stick around until the end of the fight if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see you next time.